There we go. Welcome to the 146th Pendragon session. We're still in the Twilight period. We're still in the tail end of 561. Guinevere has just had a feast, and a knight has died and poisoned from it. Sir Patrice of Ireland, specifically outside of Meath. He died after eating an apple. And J'accuse has been called by his liege lord and some of your lords as well in Ireland. So we are, he's calling for a full account by Lady Guinevere. It was her feast, therefore she is responsible. Of course, she confesses no wrongdoing. Arthur would stand to defend for King Manor here. However, he is abstained because he must be judge. He cannot be defender and judge and be impartial. Which is also, big Sigma grind king over husband energy.
Yeah.
So this would be
Can't imagine why Guinevere would fuck someone else.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
So, the other important bit of this is that of the 20 or so knights that are here, nobody stepped up to defend the 19 remaining. Obviously, King Manor is making the accusations. None of them stood up to defend Lady Guinevere immediately. It was only illegally that Sir Bors has stepped up and is willing to do it. So there's gonna be a little bit of there's gonna be a little bit of time, probably about a fortnight. But in that time, the queen is going to be held in the castle under watch. They're going to begin to build a pyre for her in the square. Should the duel, because this will be a trial by combat, fail, and she be found guilty at the sight of God. In that time, I believe
premature to me.
They have to be ready. Yeah.
No, they don't have to be ready. What? Why do they get just burn her immediately afterwards? Like, come on.
What's the queen's household's reaction to all this? Like, she's got handmaidens and guards, or like what's their, like, half the court is consistent of the queen's household, yeah?
Yeah. The court is very, very much up in arms with this. They are definitely trying to fight. There's not really that much of like legal avenues for them to appeal. The king has kind of made the call. That being said, they're certainly not happy with it. They're not any sort of version of resistance that they will be doing, right? Without
is there any kind of active investigation as to who actually poisoned the knight? Or is this
no?
Is that something that Garrett could have been working on?
Absolutely.
I fucking think I know who did it.
Yeah.
Or at least who ordered it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the same son of a bitch who's been behind half the shit going on in Logris for the past half decade.
I think that's a pretty good use of your time. So you're going to be looking at the cynicism of knights and tracking down skullduggery.
Yes.
I would not say this is something you normally do. I feel like your prior characters, I would say maybe this is more in their wheelhouse, but I feel like Garrett doesn't have that, what's the words I'm looking for?
Yeah.
He's not a Raymond Raymond Chandler. He's
No.
not the noir dark side of Valiant Knight. And
Yeah. Looking at the right side traits, going down the line, I've got like 6, 1, 4, 4, 9, 8, 4, 7, 9, 3, 7. Literally none of them in double digits. So he is not a Raymond Chandler, correct?
Yes.
But technically, I still have the directed trait suspicious of Silchester.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
I think Erwin will stand with the Queen's household because he's technically a part of it. I think.
Yeah.
He's like a second cousin. Yeah.
Sure. Now, I did step in and say that Bors was willing to defend. Would Erwin have stepped in?
I don't think he's that close to the Queen.
Yeah. I feel like that's fair.
That depends. Is there anything out, like, there might be if there was something in it for him. But no one said
that is the most late stage. That is so perfect. That is the most late stage Camelot thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
there's not really much in it for me, so I'm not going
to. No.
Yeah, no.
But if we need to rescue the cousin, we will. He's gonna do that. That's obviously,
no. So just
acting as not individually.
Yeah. So if you remember, this year, the tournament that you all fought in, it was the Deegani and the Orkney clans against everyone else. So you all and it was basically got Bad and Hill reenactment, where they got to do the, for whom the bell tolls style. You all got to play as the Saxons, fighting, and they just got to survive at the top of the hill.
Yes.
But it kind of didn't work that well. But as a dovetail to that, sort of like at the end of that tournament period, at the end of that Pentecost tournament, there was a big old feast that the Queen selected. Only a handful of knights, some of them leading from the tournament, like those who distinguished themselves, as well as those knights that would be, Queen's Guard kind of candidates again, right?
Yeah.
So that's when this took place.
That's right. And then there's Sir Tristram's squire is here. What's his name?
Oh, Dinadan. Yeah. Dinadan is not in. He was not a member of the 20 Knights.
Okay.
Dinadan is famously not married, which is, and also has no interest in it, which is a big no-no. I know you're not married, but you have an interest in getting married, which is okay. Dinadan's very much like, nope, I'm gonna be a bachelor.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we have about a fortnight in terms of time to try to discover the mystery of what's going on or what could have happened.
So we've got this 2 weeks. Is there? I'm sure there's people in the household who are like, the Queen is innocent, of course. I will stand by that. So if we have to prove her innocence, if we can prove her innocence before a trial, then there doesn't need to be a trial.
There is so no. Here's the thing: the poisoning happened in her house, which is a violation of hospitality.
Okay. So yes, that part is indisputable.
But the consequence of that is not death.
Correct. So what you could argue that this is like, she's still at fault for the death, but not like, it's a difference between like murder and not, I don't want to say manslaughter, but just like accidental death. You know what I mean? Like you're not found there's no culpability in terms of like you being, but you still have a responsibility in like a civil. I don't know. This analogy is falling apart. I'm sorry.
I got you. I got picking up what you're putting down. Okay. Well, all right.
Yeah. In the eyes of the law. I don't know. Medieval law.
Yeah, I gotcha. But still, someone did this
True.
and is otherwise escaping justice.
Yeah.
Well, I can't have that. I got an 18 in just. I think
Okay.
I think I'm compelled, at the very least, to know who did it.
So we are in
Yeah.
Camelot. This is like basically home field for a lot of you. I wouldn't say that this is going to be tough for you to find people to talk to and stuff like that, despite everyone being here. But yeah, how are we going to find So we want to find a poisoner, right? Who would? Are you looking for the persons who would have motives to do something here, or are you looking for a subject here? Are you a suspect?
So
Or are you looking for...
we know that a
Means?
knight didn't walk into the kitchens and put the poison in there. But we do know that a knight probably told someone to get someone to put the poison in, right? So there is a connective tissue that I think we need to find. The direct poisoner, it's like it could only be the people in the kitchen, right? It could really there are very few ways to get the poison in that. It was in the food, right, or was it in the drink?
In the food.
Yeah,
It was an apple.
right. It was a poison apple is one. I mean, it's magic. It's Morgana Le Fay, but come on. But how do you poison an apple without preparation? It's got to have happened in the kitchen. But that doesn't really help us because the person who put the poison on that apple is not the poisoner per se. They're just the person who did the act. Someone told them to do that. Someone gave them the poison, right? And that's the person we need to find. The seneschal or steward in the house.
There's probably someone specifically in charge of apples. This is in medieval household. There's probably just an apple or.
Yeah, and it needs to be. It's the person who would then connect to the higher strata, right? A knight could talk to them in order to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So I think I'm not super interested in whether or not you can do this, right? That ability is not really, I think, what we're looking for. But I do think there's a question of whether or not you do it in time before you can connect the pieces before the showdown, right? And having an impact. So I think that's what we're going to have to try to see. So I think almost like a hunting kind of thing where there's a track. That would probably be a way to do an investigation. We're playing Call of Cthulhu now, but I feel like we can simplify that even further.
I have an idea.
Sure.
If we can narrow it down to some suspects, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We plant the rumor amongst the working staff that we know the real poisoner, the real person who put this into motion, and we're letting them think we don't know, so that we can bring them as a surprise witness at the trial, in the hopes that provokes them to get the fuck out of town, and then we just sweep up whoever has started to flee.
Right. Okay. So you're going to basically smoke them out by saying you've already found them and see who runs.
Yeah, for them.
Yep. Because we have a good enough idea of how this could have happened that I think we can bluff that it will sound like, oh shit, they figured it out. It's maybe not that hard to figure out.
For sure. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And the reason I think it'll work is because these aren't knights. They're not protected by any kind of privilege here. So for a bunch of knights to be like, we got them. We're going to drag their ass before the pyre, before the entire court.
Oh,
before fucking King Arthur.
Yeah.
There's no amount of money that they got paid that is going to be worth that.
God, so true.
Let's do it.
Okay. Do we say that's intrigue to flesh them out and simplify that to a roll?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm gonna invoke loyalty to Lord because I think that this is a real, almost existential threat to Logris to have the Queen put on trial like this, have the King's authority neutered to such a degree. So it'll give you a +5 to this.
Excellent. Okay. All right, the person you're gonna be yanking off the carriage, heading out of Camelot, yes, is a what do you call the second chef? Sous chef, I guess would be. I mean, they don't have the military, what do you call it?
The French brigade style,
yeah. Technically that's anachronistic, but
Yeah.
but yes, you'll be getting a Bradwin out of here, looking to leave. Is there they're at your disposal. They clearly seem stressed and borderline repentant already about wanting to get out of here and being caught.
Yeah.
They say that they didn't have a choice.
They didn't have a choice. Were they paid?
No.
So they were threatened.
Correct.
With what? Like, what is so important to you that you'd flip on the fucking Queen of Logris? Queen of Camelot herself.
He didn't know what was going to happen. All he knew was that he needed to allow a knight's squire into the kitchen for a little bit.
How would they have identified the Night Squire as the one to let in? Do they have perhaps heraldry?
They do have heraldry, and he'll describe that he doesn't know. He was, this guy is like, I'm sorry, my lord, I don't know the houses and stuff, but he had, and he will describe to you and give me a heraldry test as we.
Do I still get the bonus from my?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Only way I'm gonna pass this. Fuck.
Oh no.
Yeah, heraldry. Okay. Heraldry's the thing I bumped up last year because I was like, I feel like this is gonna matter, but it still only got me a 6.
Okay. So I mean, let's just say it's like a redfish rampant over blue. Oh shit, we lost Jim. I'm sure Jim will come back.
So Jim's one I recognize.
Yeah, not one you recognize. This person is an odd one.
Okay.
They are not associated with any they're not like an Orkney or anything like that, they're not
No, they wouldn't be.
No.
The lack of connection to Orkney in some ways implies a connection to Orkney.
It's suspicious there's not one.
Yeah.
One immediate, yes.
Really hard not to seem like they're associated with Orkney.
Yeah.
All right.
I
have the heraldries, which means you can follow from there.
Yeah. I think at this point we can start rounding up peddlers in the area and executing them one by one until one of them confesses. Think we got it, guys. Think we got it.
Easy. I think that should work. I'm not an expert, but
yeah. So we're gonna send out some folks to find this heraldry, find out who the fuck this could have been. We're gonna hand over the sous chef and be like, "You're testifying, by the way."
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. You're gonna hold them responsible for the time being here. But okay, so 2 things. So you're gonna have to find the squire, right, and then who they belong to as well, right? So how are we going to find the squire in time? Who do you ask? Like, who do you go to with the heraldry? Like, you have the herald. You know what I mean? Like, who do you ask about? Who has this?
Marshal of the tournaments for Camelot. Like, who oversees them? They would know.
Oh, it's it's Arthur's half brother. His older one. I forgot his name. I'm blanking. I'm totally blanking on his name. The seneschal. Not Ed, but like it's
Sir Kay.
K. Thank you. I was like, it's a single syllable. It's monosyllabic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's K.
Okay, and we can trust K. K's been around for fucking ever.
Cool. Yeah.
Kay knew my grandfather at this point. Yeah. No, great grandfather.
Yeah, K is he's honorary. You know, he didn't go on. Only reason why he's still alive is probably because they didn't do the Grail.
Isn't Kay one of the only people who would have known that Gareth was the one who knighted Arthur?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we can trust Kay. We can trust Kay.
Yeah, Kay was there. Kay was there from the beginning. All right. Yeah, let's go to him. See if he recognizes the Eldrick device.
Of course. Okay. Obviously, I think getting an audience with Sir Kay isn't necessarily a problem. How do you demand for an audience? Is it imperious or is it like I have matters pertaining to, you know what I mean? Like you don't have a badge, but like are you having that sort of allure of like, listen, I have something that can save the queen, or are you?
I mean, I honestly,
what's the emotional state?
I honestly think Garrett would invoke the unnamed knight and be like there's a secret, so you can be trusted with secrets, and we got a big one for you. Your discretion, like you're essentially playing off like we know your discretion is good.
Trusting, yeah.
And we need that discretion. We need that trust.
You're calling on trusting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. No, go ahead and check trusting. Because you're like I said, you're able to get in here. I just kind of wanted to get a picture of what this looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Erwin, are you lockstep?
Yeah, for different reasons. To me, this is more about honor and family honor than anything. Like the queen, someone was poisoned. We can't do anything about that, but we can like clear the record as to who it was.
Right. Yeah. Then check just, because you're technically you're not going for revenge, but you're going through revenge through the law. You know what I mean? Like you're.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you care about that more. Okay. Cool. So let's talk about Sir Kay. Sir Kay is probably actually, you know what? I was gonna say he's probably like super serious right now, dealing with the stuff, but I feel like he's probably like you catch him on the one time he's finally had like one break in like 2 days. So he's actually probably like relaxing a little bit. And he's like out on a window. So like, oh, thank God, I'm finally, my paperwork's over. This weekend's going to be, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, it's like whatever. And that's when you all come into him. So he's like, oh my God, the weather, that like he's just enjoying the weather for a little bit. And you ruin his weather.
I could go for a nice long ride under the sun. No one will bother me or ask me for anything. Yeah. My lord.
Yeah.
Sir Garrett, the Winterborn gun it.
And the last thing he does is contemplate whether or not the jump off this will kill him instantly. No, okay. All right, go ahead. Lords of Salisbury, what gives me the pleasure to have your acquaintance on this fine day? I'm so glad you could rid me of my pacific thoughts.
Mm.
I've come here to
well,
the Queen's honor.
we have information that is something we need to act on quickly, and you're one of the few people I think that we could trust to help us with
Listen.
this.
If you're... I feel like he needs to, like, he would need to roll trusting for suspicious. I'm wondering if this guy would think that you're going to say you confess to the, you know what I mean? Like, listen, if you need to, I'm just going to roll with it and be like, my lords, if you need to confess, I am no priest.
No. Not where we were going with this. In fact, we have a strong lead on who ordered the actual poisoning. I'm going to describe the heraldry.
So sorry. It's been a very long tournament. Yeah, and so you described the... Oh, that is... a red fish.
Orkney.
No, I believe that's one of those Irish lads.
Ah, one of the Orkney Irish. I see. My suspicions have been proved correct.
Yeah. I don't know the
Irish,
squire's. I don't know the squire's name, but that's, I believe, based on that, that is Sir Pinnell of Dublin.
Okay, so like we didn't even need to go through this investigation. I could have just asked one of my knights, like which Irish knights that she's banging. You know,
possibly that could have been a way. For if you had, but you had no idea to know it was Irish in any way.
That's true.
Yeah, he distinguished himself very well at the in the tournament.
Oh, Leafwin is Leafwin who's the Irish lover? No, never mind.
Yeah. So what Sir Kay is implying that Sir Pinnell, despite being Irish, fought with the Orkneys and the Deganese.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay. Good. We have. So let's go kick his ass until he gives us answers.
Okay.
Still here.
Yeah. So is Sir Pinnell is definitely still here for the tournament. He is a roundtable knight.
Not for long.
Yep.
Jesus, I think that's how we come at him. Is be like, hey, I'm gonna dispute that you should be on the fucking round table at all, you goddamn poisoner.
Yeah.
Garrett has a lot of time and energy on his hands now that his wife's dead.
Okay, Murder, She Wrote. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Night.
You're gonna catch him. Let's catch him at the baths.
The baths?
Yeah. The hot baths. One of the last, Roman style baths of Camelot.
Okay. Got an Eastern Promises moment.
I was just thinking that. Like, we're gonna have a duel, hanging dong the entire time.
The whole time, yeah. This is what they saved all money, all this season's money for this fight.
So you're entering Deganese territory. The whole clan here is out the baths.
Okay.
So you found him, you tracked him down, but he's definitely with his group.
Okay. I'm gonna require. See, I want to just be like kicking doors in, but like that is absolutely not how we should go about this.
You're more than welcome to be
I'm
here.
not
This would be a bad time. If you were an Orkney, like, you know, the Orkneys don't go to the baths when the Deagonese are there, you know, but you all are.
right.
I wouldn't say neutral,
Yeah.
but tolerable.
Then maybe we just use this opportunity to take the measure. Does he seem on edge? Does he seem relaxed? Does he seem cocky? You know, could be anything. Like, it's still the possibility that it was someone else in different heraldry.
Yeah,
For sure.
You know,
is he the kind of person to be hanging out in the sauna with like a towel over the lap, or just like spread out?
Spread, for sure. So along with him he's probably has the ear of Bors right now, who's talking about like how, listen, you know, I've seen Matt, I know how Manor fights. It won't be an issue. That being said, if our cousin wanted to show up, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Talking about Lancelot. Seems we have some guests. And he looks over, and, you know, that's when you two enter.
Yeah. And I think I wouldn't be like kitted out, but I think I would be still dressed, and I would have my sword with me.
Bit overdressed for the baths.
Didn't come here for the bath. Came here for. I'm gonna look directly at him.
We're just gonna look at Pinel and be like, "What?" And Pinel's gonna be like, "I beg your pardon. What have you come for me?"
There are some questions that I'd like to ask you. I can ask you those questions here in front of everyone. Or I could ask you in a more private, discreet place.
What questions of what nature?
Right, I can't really say more than that without asking you the questions in front of everyone.
That's when Boris would whisper, like, "What did you do? Listen, we're all knights here. What are you implying?" He doesn't seem that he has any inclination to leave.
Yeah.
How well do you keep an eye on your squire?
Oh, Bradwin. He's a pain in the ass, to be honest. Why?
He does what he's told.
As much as any squire.
Why did you send him to the kitchens?
Send him to the kitchens? Perhaps I was thirsty? I don't know. What are you... And like everyone's looking around like, what do you... I don't know. I don't recall sending my squire to the kitchens.
Someone did. At the feast.
Feast?
Before the poisoning.
Oh, if you think what? And I feel like everyone else is also kind of like putting the pieces together here, and Bors is defending the queen. So like, and he's standing there, and so everyone's looking at you all, being like, "What the? Did you just?" Bors will interrupt and be like, "Are you coming here to accuse my cousin of murder?"
No. I would love to do anything but that. And I'm looking for a reason not to do that, because so far, all the reasons that I've been given have pointed in that direction.
Okay. I'm debating whether or not he will go down the line of, we know you lost your wife this year, but you're off your fucking rocker. Kind of, you know what I mean? I feel like he's going around that. Let me just quick. I think I gotta do something that would
might
be like
not be the wisest tact with Garrett right now.
I'm gonna do prudent versus reckless here for sure. That's that's pretty good. His prudent is 13.
Did Erwin come as well?
Yeah, I think I'd come. Whether or not, I think Erwin came thinking
you're here.
Go to the bath. I'm like, oh, they're at the bath. Great, I could use a soak.
He fails. He fails his reckless. He's prudent.
Out of the changing room.
So he won't come out with that. He'll bite his tongue.
I think I see him not say it though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Look, perhaps we need to cool our heads out of this bath.
Perhaps we need to talk in a more discreet place. Like at the beginning of the conversation, when I was talking about that thing that we should do now to have avoided all this. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, accusing him. It's his squire that was seen, right?
Yeah.
And if we're holding I think Garrett's going to say, if we're holding the queen responsible for her feast, then we hold the knight responsible for his squire.
No. He's gonna... then I will require my family to come with me, but we can have our conversation. Just let me get better dressed. Are you amenable?
Yeah, Elwin can get dressed with you.
Yeah, Erwin comes out. He's got his. Oh, we're going back inside. Right.
I just signed up for a facial scrub.
Yeah.
Yeah. Later.
Cucumber waters.
It's gonna be great.
Okay. So we're gonna move to a quieter place to chat. You're still not alone with them. You still have the rest of Boars, Benwick. I forget the other guineas, but there's like 3 more that are coming here.
Yeah.
They all and they all demand to know what is it, what is it, where are these accusations coming from? What is it about my squire? A squire in a kitchen that he has no knowledge about should not inculpate him. Is that the word?
Inculcate.
Implicate. Sorry, implicate.
Inculcate is sort of the opposite. Yeah. See, here's the thing. The more people know about this, the harder it is to control.
Yeah. Well, you have to, whatever you have to say in front of the Deaconeve clan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be like, only a couple of them can be in the room, but frankly, if one of them knows, all of them know.
Yeah.
I think we should just lay it all out.
Yeah.
And this is partially a pressuring tactic for sure. So whether or not your convictions and courage will stand up to this is a question.
Yeah. Sir Garrett's going to lay it out as thoroughly as he can about how we got here and why that did not involve any missteps along the way.
If my squire did something, he will confess he has no knowledge of what his squire did. But he's taking serious offense at the accusations that he would.
I'm sorry, you take offense that I would think you know what your squire does. That I would not think you negate in training your own squire?
He's definitely going to call on a passion or two for this, his own honor. being in question. But more, I'm more saying this as a way of his face is getting red. He is getting agitated, and he is speaking with strong conviction when he says, "You have no idea what you're talking about." Now you're getting to him. So what I'm saying here, when he's delaying and trying to avoid these things and is getting angry, is that he's not confessing. So you just need to keep, you can.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say right now.
I think, and I'm sorry, I keep jumping in without giving Jim a chance.
So good. It's all right. Mostly the next question Erwin has is, where's the squire? So you're not responsible.
Yeah.
You cannot control your squire. But we are their masters. Where is your squire?
I don't know. I'm at the bats.
Is he leaving the kitchens?
Oh.
I guess more.
I don't know. Where's your squire? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, right now they're brushing my horse. Like that. Like I told them to polish my armor and then polish the tank.
Garrett's like, which one? I've got two. One's in my office. Like the other is helping Erwin's squire because brushing down the horses.
Squire 3 days.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, he would imply that the his squire is somewhere but clearly doing some duty station that a squire would be doing right now, right?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
They're
a bit too old to be supervised. Yeah, they're a bit too old to be we're not. They're old enough to not require constant supervision.
Certainly.
To keep up the pressure, I think Garrett is going to lean on the. I don't think we've ever kicked someone off of the round table before.
Okay.
Like you're concerned about your honor. It's like you're not concerned about your honors, the various honorifics, titles. Like that's certainly part of your honor, and that is something that could go away with a stain like this.
Even just the implication.
Yeah. The implication is strong enough here.
Do you want to be a knight of the round table asterisk? Maybe I give him an out. Maybe I talk about how I believe that it's important to distinguish with Guinevere, right? The responsibility that she has versus the perfidiousness of deception, right? That you have a reasonable responsibility. You can act responsibly. If someone is actively deceiving you, I mean, you can't be held responsible for that. The evils that men do to us don't stain us. And so if someone, an upstanding knight, perhaps, were deceived rather than complicit, that is an important distinction to make.
I think the way he breaks, or cracks, I should say, is when you try to offer that kind of out and says, I think he will allude to that you know nothing about what it's like to be, about outs and what it means to be, to hold a proper revenge. It wasn't your cousin who was slain. No, you have nothing of a blood feud kind of thing. About, there's innocence and things like that. There's no innocence in a blood feud,
Okay.
and that's when I think Boris and Benrick would be like, what the fuck? What the?
Yeah.
What you?
Yeah.
What? He's impugning my honor. I have nothing to do with this. Is what he's trying to say, but it's very much
yeah. You can't handle the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He very much just Jack Nicholson'd himself.
Good.
And that, yes. But you can't prove any of this.
Not per se, but we can follow through on all the kinds of punitive actions we just described and let you live with that. Or, you testify and say what little remains of your honor. You're surrounded by family. Yeah, like
you're not.
How far does their family? How far does that family loyalty extend? Does it extend to murderers?
Yeah, I think that's when Boars will look to you, at both of you and be like, "When I'm done killing Manor, you're fucking next."
Me?
Both of you. You don't think I know? I've been living with grudges my whole life. What's two more? They are very much. They don't care. Yeah,
I'm fucking serious.
They're willing to stand for their family over the truth. Willing to stand with their family over anything.
You and the Orkneys are fucking insane.
Honestly, that's probably the right answer. Is the and that,
I don't say this lightly. You're worse than Silchester.
you could definitely have suspicious of the Deaconese, but yes, they are.
Yeah.
They think that whatever you do, we will fight you there, and then we'll fight you on the freaking the field if we have to. Like you don't mean anything. You mean shit to us.
This is their response to us basically to being like, hey, something suspicious has happened around one of your squires, and we're trying to come to the truth, and it'd be good for you to cooperate with us because it would clear.
And they just close ranks, yeah.
Yeah, and they say you can't handle the truth. You have no idea what it's like to have feuds, and just shut the fuck up. And if you're going to do this, then they threaten you. Yeah, very much extremely like hyperbolic. Yeah.
The blue wall of silence is strong here.
The truth part that keeps coming back to us. Yeah. What truth can we handle?
You are without a doubt convinced that they have their role was involved in this, not just their squire, right? Which
if they're all closing ranks, it's not just this one.
Yeah,
it's not. Sir Pennell's not an outlier who went rogue.
No.
But I mean, in a sense, he went rogue, but the issue is that he did it wrong, not that he did it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. He acted as the family would expect to further this feud, but he did it in a sloppy way, in a bad way, not in a way that's going to cause them to cast him out. Yeah. Oh, Christ.
Yeah, I mean, he would probably be super agitated to the point where he's like, you know how humiliating it is to have to stand in this tournament next to those fucking filthy Orkneys, and like who killed my cousin, in cold blood, like they killed Lamorak, the marshal of Camelot, and they get away with it. They're fucking walking. So yeah, you're clearly seeing like there is a sense that the rules of Camelot do not apply.
So they don't care. They're not.
Ultimately, no.
They don't care.
Yeah. All right. Well. Okay. Well, let Sir Boris calm down, I guess.
I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Attack whales? Like they're you know what I mean? They're largely immune to these consequences.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They get to do this kind of thing. I guess the question I have, this is not like for the bathhouse audience, but just like running around everyone's head, it's just like, then why poison someone at the Queen's banquet? Was it meant for someone else? And so Patrice just ate
You're-
something he wasn't supposed to.
You're not getting an answer. They will never mention that. But yes, that is.
I wouldn't ask the question in front of them either.
But yeah, that is the implication. The implication was that this was for that apple was not for Patrice. Patrice's stupid stomach got the better of him.
Got the better of him. Okay,
and he ate the wrong.
Kind of, that spiral out of control. They're forced to defend the queen, but something's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now you see maybe why they also are defending the queen.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I can
What
see that.
can we prove so far?
You can prove based off of the. You have the peasant saying that they let a squire in.
Yep. And
right.
the squire did something with the apples.
You don't. But you don't have the squire.
I have a squire.
Right.
Yeah.
You found out the squire, and then you found out this through Kay. He didn't know the squire's name, but he did know that the squire is through Sir Pinnell, right? Like those are.
Mm-hmm.
And so you went over to Pinnell at the bathhouse. So that's what you can prove right now.
That's what we've got.
In terms of a court of law, the peasant's testimony doesn't mean shit.
Yeah,
right.
But Garrett is shifting away from court of law thoughts and is thinking about if it's about pride, we can wound his pride. My thought is turn it away from an intentional poisoning and be like, this squire accidentally helped bring in these apples, and one of them was just a bad apple that made him sick, and essentially make him look like a fucking fool, not criminal. Someone who can't control, just be like, oh yeah, the squire just did a stupid thing because he wasn't paying attention. He couldn't even tell us where the squire was when we went and talked to him. Yeah. There was nothing malicious about it. It was entirely accidental. He wasn't trying to hurt anyone. Yeah. He doesn't have it in him to hurt anyone. He could never poison someone. He doesn't have the constitution. That kind of resolve is not in this man. Right? just grind it in. So he has to either accept looking like a fucking milquetoast.
Right.
Yeah.
If we can prove that the squire was there, we can make up anything about what he did there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So here's a little bit of the rub on why it's complicated. Pinnell is in Ireland and stands to benefit should the worst happen to King Manor, right? He gets, part of more Irish holdings.
Yeah.
So he's strongly incentivized to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And if he can just be quiet through this.
Yeah. We're talking about prong one here. Yeah. Of what can we do in Logres? Your boy's a baron of Meath. I got resources over there. I got a crazy auntie who has nothing but time on her hands over there.
Oh, that and you're facing your own little bits of rebellions over there. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, an Irish rebellion. We haven't had to deal with those ever. So, definitely threatening me with something that's just happening all the time anyway.
Right. Okay.
I mean, this is just Colin thinking out loud. I'm not super committed to the plan yet, and solicit a constructive feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a part of me that's we poked our nose into their feud. It's entirely possible that Sir Bors, he's fighting Sir Mater.
Yeah,
the Irish guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not sure.
Mador is the liege lord. Yeah, Mador is the liege lord to Patrice, who died.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. So I'd imagine that I don't know. I'm not sure who. The only other thing I'm really curious about is who everyone thinks is going to win.
Force, I think, is. No. Isn't that what he was saying at the bathhouse?
Of course they are, because like they're being brought.
That was
you know
just,
what I mean?
that was just bravado. Got it.
Yeah. Not truth is that no one knows who's going to win. This is like this is as close to like this is not quite, this isn't Tristram versus Lancelot, but this would be like an opening act to that kind of level of clash. Like these guys are both pretty good.
It's a toss-up.
Is it to the death?
No, it's not to the death. It's to yielding.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah. You know, if you are in a fight in a trial by combat and you are hurt enough that you repent, that is just, that's the point. If you die,
but it also means that you could die.
Yes, exactly. And if you die defending what you believe, then that's also considered fair, right?
Yeah.
You were just wrong, but you stood up for what you thought.
You went down swinging.
Conviction.
Yeah, exactly.
You're wrong. Yeah. Okay.
So that's sort of what you're dealing with there.
I think letting it play out a bit so that we can see. I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks that like we could overplay what little we have.
Yeah, which feels like what I was towards.
I mean, you already have.
Sure, yeah, because we already pissed them off because we were like, hey, what's going on? But they're so proud they can't just be like, our bad,
Yeah.
So I don't want to make that situation any worse. So there's a part of me that's thinking like, let's see what happens with the duel, and then if it comes out that like,
yeah, like to be clear,
Sir Bors is defeated.
Yeah, like to be clear, like
part of it is just like, forget about it, Jake. It's Walestown,
Yeah, the Deacony are not going to like beat you up in the middle of the night, or you know what I mean. They're not going to be plotting your demise. They're not worried about that. But also, don't expect to get any like Christmas cards.
Yeah.
You're getting cold shouldered whenever you can from them. You're not
sure
for what you've done.
I got that.
Now the important or the other part is I feel like because you involved him, let's like jump time just a little bit and be like, I feel like Sir Kay has to find you and be like, what the fuck have you done? Why are half my these roundtable nights talking about super mad at you? What did you do? They're saying, did you just accuse the Deacony clan of poisoning? They're like, I'm sorry, like, please tell me you did not just accuse the Deacony, like, that I just scheduled an entire tournament to bring people together, and you just showed up and you just accused one of the clans that they are attempting to poison the Orkneys. Please tell me you just did not do that.
Somebody was poisoned.
I have a thought.
Yeah. Well, you just accused them of poisoning. He's making the conclusion that like you're just accusing Deacony of poisoning, right? Which has to be, because the entire point of this was supposed to like get them to like kiss and make up.
Yeah.
I don't think they want to.
If we can find the squire, I have an idea.
Well, yeah.
Again, this is just Colin talking.
For sure.
I have an idea.
I love that. You do have to squeeze out of the ire of Sir Kay right now, who is a seneschal. Who's super mad about like there is the all whatever goodwill is completely gone up in smoke. Hopefully not the queen in a week, but like at the same time, like things are terrible, right?
Yeah, Garrett would be just like, here's the information we presented. They closed ranks. Like we expected them to have slightly more honor than what they displayed.
More honor? What do you think? You think this is 20 years ago? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I'm just trying to keep things fucking together, man. I mean, he wouldn't say his thing is 20 years ago, but like he is like, oh my god, you better find that squire.
And when we do, he's gonna flee to the continent. I think if we can find the squire we have someone approach him being like, hey, I'm a friend of the DeGuineas. People know you need to get out of here. And have him flee to the continent. And then we sit back and be like, well, we would never accuse anyone of anything. Jesus, that looks suspicious, doesn't it?
Okay.
We never have to publicly say anything. Everyone can just draw their own conclusions from the fact that this DeGuineas squire fled to the continent.
Yes, the act.
I've got some.
For itself. Yeah, they got to get to him and then convince him to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Getting to their squire and convincing them seems like the last two main parts of this problem. Okay. So normally I would say like, oh, you can get to the squire, no problem. But the fact that like you're dealing with the DeGuineas kind of closing ranks here, you do have an obstacle of time and availability to get to the squire. So I feel like this require a small series of tests to do. Part of me thinks it's like maybe like a combination of like hunting, something like that, because awareness for sure to try to find them, right? That's definitely going to be one of them. Horse doesn't make sense, but you are going to have to convince them too, right?
We're doing both in one set of rolls.
Yeah, I'm thinking. No, I'm thinking about this in terms of like it's kind of like a skill challenge of 3 rolls. Is recognize a skill?
Recognize is a skill, yeah.
Okay. I feel like recognize is probably in the mix.
Okay.
Awareness, recognize, yeah.
All of these.
Awareness,
recognize tourney. If there's the middle of a tourney, where squires beat a tourney.
It's kind of the end of it, but I could see tourney being a skill. Yeah, and then yeah.
To find them, yeah, to know like what is a squire usually having to do?
Where are they going to be
during these tourneys? So where would we
by themselves?
Yeah. That makes perfect sense to me. Okay, so I need the 3 skills from you: awareness, recognize, and tourney.
Both of us?
Yeah, both of you together.
Okay. I have to invoke honor on this because otherwise I've got no chance of passing any of these checks.
Sounds good.
I've got a 6, 3, and a 10.
Okay.
10.
Yeah.
And 5, 11.
That's a crit.
Yay!
That's a crit.
Okay.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, impassioned.
That's a 10. Oh.
Judge dreading it. Yeah.
It is on fire.
All right. Give yourself 18 glory as well for critting your honor. Pass your awareness. Pass the recognize.
I see.
Two or 3 for me.
Okay. So then I think what's going to have to happen here is one of you can get so I feel okay, I think what this looks like is tracking down the squire is almost a perfect success. Like you're able to grab him. I don't say he's not like in a hideout, right? But like you're able to catch him before the DeGuineas. But I feel like with Erwin having 2 out of 3 successes, Erwin is the one who has to stay back to handle the Serpentis who has showed up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is arriving, but you got the jump on him, which means we're gonna have Garrett going in and talking to the squire. Or sorry, Penel.
Oh,
So
The idea was, once identified where he was, sending in someone who could pretend to be a Degini confidant. Which I don't think would be me. It would too publicly.
yeah.
Couldn't be Garrett. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
It would be could send in my Irish vassal. Yeah, could send in my
Yeah.
Irish vassal, or is Gindag Irish? I don't think he is. No, that was my mistake. So Sears of Podstock, either her or her squire, going in with like a bag of money and being like, they know the Deginis have arranged to get you out and safe. You'll be given a place on the continent where you'll be comfortable until all this passes. Blows over.
Oh, okay. All right. But then, so how are we going to handle the partial success of? Because I feel like you get that, but the consequence though is on your tails are the D&E, right? Now I was modeling this off of tracking down bandits, right? And
I think
the partial in this case would be a fight to catch them, which in my brain kind of translates to the Deganese, or like a emissary of the Degani having to deal with them. Like you have to either verbally or physically altercate,
intercept them in some way, right?
So like,
or they run into us.
Yeah,
or because we don't care if the Deginis know that we did this. This is us poisoning their reputation to everyone else. So I mean, I can imagine them trying to go after the squire once he's being hustled off, and us getting in the way and being like,
yeah,
can't let you pass.
Right. So how are you going to stop them?
If I have to, we just need to prevent them for a certain amount of time to get the squire out.
How many are there? Is the other thing.
Yeah, that's a much better question.
2.
Okay.
You take one, I'll take the other.
Pinnell and Benwick.
All right. All right. I mean, we could try to just stall. Like, if we're looking to just stall for time, we can keep talking to them and see, like, try to convince them, like, this is something you can't let this,
Yeah.
I think
you can't let this go. You gotta come clean. You could try to like, now that temperatures have cooled down, trying a different approach, kind of. I don't know if that'll work.
Yeah.
The interest. Yeah, Garrett's gonna be like, it's not too late. It's not too late. Your reputation is likely to suffer one way or the other. But in one way, it suffers on your terms. It suffers honestly, as a knight should suffer. And more cynically, the interesting thing is normal assassination happens only once. Character assassination, that happens every day.
Is your intention to goad them into fighting you? What's your intention?
It's to goad them into doing anything following,
Right. Anything but following. I think you definitely would got their attention.
Yeah, if they fight, like, I can just fight defensively. I'm a great swordsman.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to fight but I think they're going to definitely get into your face. They're without a doubt and do the pokey thing into your chest kind of thing. Stuff, you know what I mean? Like they're not going to bring out their swords. They're not. That would look extremely bad. Open fighting, because I imagine you're basically like just like an open street kind of in Camelot situation, right? And you know, this is not the place for this kind of thing.
Do you bite your thumb at me, sir? No, yeah. I bite my thumb, but not at you, sir.
Right.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. So they're gonna get in our face.
Let's see. What would be the role for goading them to see how far this goes? It's like I'd want the they would like they basically like you're forcing them to make almost like test their own honor and like valor or something.
Yeah,
reckless.
Yeah, reckless for sure.
Yeah. One could argue orate. One could argue intrigue. If you want to look at traits, could argue deceitful or cruel. The sharper the barb, the better. You know.
Ooh.
I don't have a lot of practice of being cruel, but
I think orate. I think orate would make sense, and I think you should just check cruel because that's what your intentions are with the orate, is to get them to focus on their anger at you rather than.
Yeah. Do I still have the impassioned bonus?
Yeah, for sure.
Orate.
Good. No crit, but good. Yeah. All right, this will work. I definitely think I definitely think the consequence to this is you bite your thumb at me kind of stuff. But furthermore, this is a Rubicon of anger that's being crossed with them and you lot.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they even know what your plans are, but like the fact that like, you know, you just catch them in the street, right? And you're kind of like technically running interference, but they don't even realize that you're doing this, right? And you just goad them again. I mean, like you're really going to goad me in the middle of the street, like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. What's the matter? Have you lost track of your spy again?
Okay. That's good. They're not gonna like that.
I think afterwards, Garrett's going to be to like say to Erwin, be like, "You didn't have to do any of this, you know."
I mean, it didn't, but it is fun to watch them get so angry. Their recklessness endangered the life of one of my family members, the Queen. I can't let that sit. That's it for him. The Queen is just you know, she's the old lady at this point, I guess. But it's like, it's family. It doesn't matter what you think about the individual member. They
and I think
done this anywhere else except poison at a feast where other people are eating. They could have had a beef out on the front lawn, but they decided to do some underhanded shit with it. And either way, if someone died, it would have besmirched the Queen. You know, that's why Ellen's here.
Well, it still kind of besmirches the Queen because, like, the champion of the Queen now is also under this pale of, you know, their cousin is did this.
Mm-hmm. So it's
well,
they weren't mad about that. That's their fault for being so reckless and, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. Well, this I think this all happens before the fortnight's up. But the day of the trial, or I guess like the day before the trial, you get to, bring your case. What can you help me know what is publicly known and shared at this point?
Sure. It is publicly known that Garrett de Winterborn Gunner is asking questions in the kitchen. That he talked to some squires and talked to the DeGuineas.
Yeah.
Made no formal accusations. But was confronted by some DeGuineas afterwards, and that one of the DeGuineas squires fled to the continent.
Yeah, to their holdings in Brittany.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that all sounds right. If you were given the opportunity to expand on this in the actual legal case, would you opt to do that, or do you think, and make this into even more of a mess, or like imagine a day before the trial, you're able to speak your piece in front of Arthur, in front of the Queen, in front of Bors, in front of Manor, and the rest of the court.
I think Garrett's going to elide a lot of the detail, but is going to essentially make the kind of argument he made in the bathhouse, that we hold people negligent against the vicissitudes of fate, not against the perfidious lies and deception of men. And that it is very possible that someone used a squire as a pawn for their perfidious scheme. And that should lessen the culpability of the Queen, right? That the sins of another should not stain us. If she conducted her feast as well as a host should, that still can't stand up to all the varied devilries that come from a soul's rot. Eliding, okay, whose squire? Well, someone's squire did flee, but I also didn't say it was the squire's knight who put it, but anyone could use another's squire, right? Anyone could use a squire. So very much not being like, well, it didn't have to be the DeGuineas. Anyone could have had the DeGuineas squire do it.
Then, Mador will, all right, given that this is brought to light, this does change the context of the trial. Mador will amend, and he will, specifically, he will recant, what he says about the Queen, though, and then we'll blame the DeGuineas, and we'll call them out.
Shucks.
Yeah, because he still lost his bro. Like, he's not going to let Patrice's death go unchallenged, right?
Look,
and
there's at this point, I think Garrett understands there's no real justice to be found here, but there is a kind of justice to be found.
So you have saved the Queen, but instead, Mador will then challenge Sir Pennell, and Bors, who's kind of already to fight Mador, will be his champion.
Yeah. And I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to tell my entire household, be like, just don't accept gifts from DeGuineas anymore.
Yeah,
any food, anything from an orchard is probably no. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's only source our fruits from people we know.
Yeah, from there on out.
I mean, Garrett is genuinely going to be like, "Hey guys, we might be kind of in a feud with a one-sided feud with the Deguinis. Like, I don't give a shit, but they give many shits. They give shits for both of us."
Yeah, they got beef with us. I'm sure they'll escalate, and then we will have a proper feud.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then, so I'm clear. You sent the squire to your holdings, not in Brittany, but in Frisia.
No. He sent it to the Deguini holdings. He said to get out, right? And my thought was
that was the pretense.
Pretending. Yeah, the pretense was that it's for the Deguinis, but we're shipping them to Frisia.
Oh, I missed that part. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want the Deguinis to get him back and then be able to be like, "Oh, we're just gonna set up in Frisia. He's gonna be banging a fat Frisian milkmaid for the rest of his life. He's gonna be happy.
Yeah,
it's
gonna be fine.
Just massive tracts of land,
I wonder. Okay, I mean, okay. So you're kidnapping a squire
from the sea.
I thought you were just conveniently sending him to making him a non-player, like in the politics of stuff.
Well, I guess if that would keep him out, my assumption was if we sent him anywhere the Deguinis had actual influence, that he'd just bounce right back.
Sure, but he would be, but he's removed from influencing the trial in any way or denying it or anything like that.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, we don't need to send
kidnapping a squire does imply a bigger problem. You're going to have to answer.
Yeah.
I would assume
to
bring him back.
You're gonna. His family is gonna be like, this Irish family is gonna be like, "Excuse me, where's my son?" Yeah.
Send him on vacation. Be like, here's a couple Libra. Go have some fun in Brittany, and then come back in like 6 months.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, that makes more sense. That would be less impactful. Yeah. But still, so our Pendragon wheel turns. So instead of Lancelot showing up at the last second and subbing in for Bors to defend the queen, Bors will defend himself against Manor. And both Manor will get not quite mortally wounded, but enough that an oath of recanting will be brought forth as Bors is declared the victor. Bors is also, he's going to be out for at least a year. Both of them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, yes. So then he proclaims. So in other words, despite your evidence, Manor will retract. He won't die for Sir Patrice, but this is
all right.
A dour note, and the limits to justice.
Yeah. Well, that Arthur's not been able to put a lid on this feud.
No.
This has been
going on for a long time.
This is literally a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just Lamorak. It was, before that and all kinds.
Well, it went back to Pelennor, right? The Orkneys killed King Pelennor. Then we went to King Lot, and then we went to Lamorak, and then we went, and then Lot's wife also died. So they lost their mom. But that was like a self goal. There's been a lot, and then but now with Lamorak dead, the next, the heir, it would be Gwaine, right? So it's very complicated, and it's has no sign of stopping.
Yeah.
It's basically like the Capellans in BattleTech lore, just like, you're like, listen, I'm over it, we're cool, surprise attack, like it's like very much like this like thing, like that's just what they do, it's like as the story goes. Even though I love my surprising.
Capellans. it is kind of surprising that we've managed to go this long without getting directly involved. You know,
True. You really stuck your
Yeah,
noses in it this
yeah.
time, y'all.
We did. Yeah, you know.
we made up for lost time, I guess.
Right? Okay.
They didn't have to poison somebody.
Yeah,
It's true.
I think there is something. I think Garrett kind of feels like this is a sign of the times. You know,
Yeah, like why aren't they calling each other out on the tourney field? You know, why aren't they?
Well-
What's with the poisoning?
They were supposed to work together on the tourney field.
Yeah, everybody else wants them to get back together, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
The king wants them to like shake hands and let's be bros. And they absolutely are burning every bridge possible. They have no respect for each other.
Well, yeah,
They
they've been killing each other for
Yeah.
decades.
This is a there's no solution that leaves both of them up, you know?
yeah.
All right.
I think I described early on Sir Garrett really. All of my characters have kind of taken inspiration and advice from the Chronicle, the great family chronicle that we keep. But I think this is the first time Garrett is like, I've been looking to see what kind of man I could be from this. But I'm realizing that I have to be a man of my time. That I can't take pieces of Gareth, pieces of Acewin, pieces of Archie, because each of them lived in a different time than me. And that sucks, because this day and age sucks. And I don't want to have to be a man of my time, but I think I have to.
Cool. So two additional things for this year before we close it out. Arthur will indirectly thank you all by helping your Earl S, or like your lady, Angrad of Salisbury. You know that this is through Arthur because like there's accompanying letters to each of these respective gifts. So first off, Jim's internet, Jim's Discord. Okay, so these are the two gifts. So first off, Colin, Garrett, you're getting another toll gift.
Another toll.
Yep. You get another Libram a year for your ferryings and stuff. So you're getting that extra money traffic into.
Did I ever get the first one back? Oh, there it is, tax term.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're getting an additional one back. So you're getting a toll gift of 1 Libram a year, basically in perpetuity. Jim, you're getting a gift from Lady. So you're getting a gift of a new mill charter. This will add 2 to your concern of commoners.
All right.
Basically, that's a free building. It's going to get constructed and stuff like that. But the immediate benefit is, and long-term benefit is that as long as this thing's still standing, your peasants don't hate you as much.
All right.
Your concern for commoners goes up.
It's now 2.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the first time something's ever been built.
That's a positive number.
Oh my god! Yeah, we don't have to grind
He
our own.
loves us so much.
Wow, they gave us a mill. Yeah, notoriously. Yeah.
All right.
So, not that much of a dispensation, but it's
Sure, but it's
offer.
something. Yeah, it's no barony.
no. Speaking of your baronies, Brian's back. Brian's attacking Leinster over in Ireland. He's attacking your coasts. You all are more inland, so you're not directly affected. Leinster would be like your southeastern coast. You're more like middle eastern central. So you're okay. Like a little bit north. You're like a little bit north of Tipperary, which is obviously a long way to get there. So yeah, so you all will can choose to commit forces there. Regardless, but it's not going to affect your income, but it will affect the restlessness that's going on over there.
Yeah.
I think
What I mean, what are? What's that?
I think it might be a good idea to be in Ireland for a little while.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's. I think I agree with that.
Mostly, it's like we get to fight somebody at least.
You two personally, or your forces in Ireland, like your holdings?
I mean, Erwin's interested in. Erwin's like, this courtly business is all right, and hunting in the south is fine, but
this is like mid-fall.
Loot.
You know, this isn't like what's it like? If this isn't like November, you know, you're still definitely like peak harvest time. But yeah, if you want to head out there,
yeah. I would assume this to be like we're preparing for it and then arrive in the spring. Like this would be like what we're doing next year.
No, you'd be arriving this year. This would be like the remainder of this year. But this is why like Sir Brian's clearly attacking for the harvest, right? Like he's burning ships and stuff like that. Now, you sending boats over there could be a boat problem, right? Because technically that's kind of like the path you would leave at. Well, also, I mean, the obvious way to get there is, unfortunately, you leave through Wales.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can't exactly leave through Cardiff.
Or you can't. Well, no, but you could technically leave through Wexford and stuff. You could go not Wexford. The Isles. What's it called?
Yeah.
Your King Godwin's and stuff. The south part. What's it called?
Mm-hmm.
It's not called. It's not. Yeah, it's not called Southport. It's like not Dorset. What's it called? Whatever. The point being is,
I got you.
I don't know why I'm blanking on the name.
I'm gonna roll prudent for reckless for Garrett on whether he'd go because I don't know. I think he would have an instinct to get the fuck out of town for a little bit and do something knightly, not tainted by this horrible politics. But on the other hand, I think it actually is probably smarter for him to stay home. So, fucks up prudent.
Oh, and
fucks up reckless. He fucks up.
So he's indecisive.
Prudent less than he fucks up reckless. So I'd say I think prudent probably wins out.
Sure.
Yeah, so he's not gonna go over. He is gonna send forces though.
Okay. So the choice then is if you don't personally intercede as well. If you commit your forces in Ireland, I will roll in the winter to see the result of that, whether or not they're diminished when it comes to the Irish raids and things like that, and have that a factor, or you can just keep them at home and be against the raids and just fine. But not going has the consequence of exacerbating the anger of the Irish, and you doing exactly what they're mad about, of you not, contributing to defend against fucking raiders. So
Erwin's going to go because there's, a fight.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Cool. All right. And can you do me a favor? Yeah.
Yeah, because 561 is when Walla's son becomes a knight. So there's like people around to look after the manors.
Hell yeah, I love that.
All kinds of knights.
Can you give me a boating check at 16 to be like your captain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Failure.
We will be fighting at sea.
Nice.
So you will be, you will be caught heading into Ireland, right? At sea by the raiders.
Mm-hmm.
You and I imagine it's not just one boat. It's like probably like two or three cocks that you went over together with.
Yeah. There's those little galleys, I think.
Yeah. Let's go with Valor for sure. Your weapon of choice and I think your own individual boating would represent, or like dexterity might be the better one.
Okay.
Let's do dexterity.
Okay.
You're safe from you're immune from this, Colin. You do not go over on a boat. Nice.
Speller. Hammer. Failed dex.
Okay.
2 or 3.
That's good. Okay. So we're not going to deal with taking significant damage. You will fight. Okay. Which means you will be fighting. You have fought through the defenders, and in fact, you have able to return some of the pillaged goods that you could either claim as your own or return to Ireland back with. So,
are they goods from any of the lands that I personally oversee?
Nope.
I'm gonna keep them.
Hell yeah. Okay. Nice. That was going to be my question. Roll a d6 to see the amount of goods. Each of these is worth an amount. Let's see the quantity, the bushels of things that you get. Okay, so you're able to recover basically like 3 bushels of not potatoes, but like your grains and the
3 units of goods.
Yeah. Okay, and you're going to keep them yourselves, right?
Yep. To use on our own land to bolster our own, like that kind of thing.
Sure. So after this fight at sea, do you feel satiated, or would you continue to Ireland?
Continue to Ireland.
Okay, nice.
Determined. Okay, we beat them at the sea. Now we're going to beat them on land.
Okay. Cool. All right. Then boating check again. This is your landing. Yeah. Okay.
Success.
All right. Your landing is not opposed. I think with your success here, you can make contact with and since it's not opposed, you can make contact with your forces here in Ireland. And let's see how the rest of the fight is going. This will have to be a valor battle, and I want to say like you have to test their loyalty, but no, let's just go with the valor battle and a lance or a spear skill.
Yeah.
This is like the raiding.
Yeah.
The reverse raid.
All right. 3 successes.
Nice. Okay. Hell yeah, brother. Okay, so in addition, you're gonna gain another d6 of goods.
Boom, 6.
Okay. You definitely have dealt a strong blow to Brian's forces. My question for you now is: you have a choice. Would you like to gain a prisoner / companion of some value, or would you like to roll on the luck table to see what you get?
Well, I'd like to roll on the luck table.
Okay. Roll a d100 for me.
All right.
See what you get.
See what we get. 42.
Nice.
Nice middle number.
Okay. Well, this is fucking perfect. A neighboring knight says his family owes yours a favor, which is and he will send for aid for free once.
Sweet.
Cool. So let me give you an Irish knight. All right. Sir Cadfanon. Probably of like, let's say of Waterford, right? So the Irish people that you been taken, basically they got robbed, but you basically saved them. You probably relieved a siege kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
Forcing them.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless there's somebody there's like, that's my stuff, then Erwin's gonna be like, this is for our war effort.
They will. Yeah. Well, let's ask that. If Cat Phantom will ask you whether or not was anything able to be salvaged or recovered for this year.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's like, check it out.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like livestock and
yeah. Oh yeah, it's cattle. Yeah, for
stuff.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So, he won't ask for it back, but it's definitely. I feel like it's kind of expected.
Yeah. No, I mean, Erwin's just. He's not gonna like. He's gonna take what he needs because he's come here to do war. But it's like if someone got their goods stolen, and like they're my neighbors or people I'm in charge of, oh, please take it. Take whatever. Take it back.
Okay. For sure. Okay. Well, I mean, they will claim that 6 back then, and you only get to keep the 3 from the boats.
Now let's see. Here we go. Let me see how he really feels about it. Because he's like, some of it, all of it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming generous versus selfish is a way to go with this one. So I can't really see.
Yeah. I can see that. Oh my god, you pass your generous. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Jeez. In a moment of just you've caught me at a good time. Take it.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm feeling generous. Feeling generous.
Love it.
Okay. Cool. Then you get to okay. Then you do get to keep the 3 from the boating.
Okay.
And you dealt a major blow to Brian's rating.
Yeah.
Which will have an impact on the rest of Ireland. Good job.
Oh, cool.
Can you just give me a boating check to get back? At the end of the year. It's be tough at winter. You mean coming back while the snows are falling and stuff, but you make it back in time. Okay.
16 out of 17.
No issues. But it's definitely not a good time for boating.
No.
Cool. You come back salt sprayed, but 3 so the goods, yeah. So each of those goods, go ahead and roll roll 3d6 for me. Determine the value of them. 8.
4, 3, 1.
Yeah. So 8 more Librum to you this year.
Okay.
All right. Do we have time to do winter or no?
No.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
no.
Fair
play.
Go.
Then we'll wrap up here.
Sounds good.
That would be the. Oh my God! Yeah. Sorry. I literally did not give you any glory. You should get. So first off, for the boating fight, you got 25 glory, and then for the battle fight, you got 75 glory.
Excellent.
I'm assuming there wasn't any glory in the investigation because of its nature and
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Nope. And you're fighting a lot of stuff with honor. You did get glory for critting your honor, though.
Yeah, I got the 18 already.
Yeah, but I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I feel like you should earn something for doing the right thing.
Well,
the queen is,
but hold on. But is honor a measure of how much you do the right thing? It's not. It's notoriety, right? It's notoriety and capability, none of which was very public in this situation.
Yeah, it was only public to the courts, but like the court was all the important people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you 25 glory, man. You get 25
Okay.
for choosing to speak up at investigations. Cool. Then we will pick up next time with 562 and finishing the winter. So thanks both.